spending my vacation in the summer sun, getting lots of action, having lots of fun, soaring like a bandit till the bubble burst. Suddenly it got to be September 1st. Whoa, it's me. All summer long I was happy and free.
It's like Crow, but
And you're playing on the beta server, right? Yeah.
Huh?
You're playing on the beta server.
yes, hence why every name I tried was taken. Flame Strike. No, taken.
That's right.
Flame Strike with 2 eyes. Taken. Alright, so here we are. We're in Gotham. We're in the East End. And I've been directed over here by Batman because Scarecrow has unleashed fear gas in the area. You can see fear gas kind of floating through the air here. I'm
A hero already on beta doing the same mission.
So you can see here, I can basically just tap it and it'll go through a very sequence of combos. I can also vary it up, maybe do a hold because I bought this combo. I also bought a cool combo which is a tap, hold, tap combo, which does a little more. And these things build as you go and they have different effects that you can use. So I'm just going to actually get in here and get into some combat. I'll pop in acrobatic mode. Acrobatics lets me climb and scale things like this. I can run sideways on buildings and stuff, or I can just swoop straight down them, leap off into combat, things like that. So there's a lot we can do here. And you're going to see, when you're playing later today and you see a purple ring on the ground, I encourage you to go over and interact with it and take part in one of our races, where you get to actually use your acrobatic skill to try and complete a timed race challenge and get some rewards for that.
So here Ariens is fighting against the Scarecrow's thugs, and he's trying to stop the fear gas generators from continuing to pollute the city. As you're tracking the course of the Scarecrow, because remember, this entire game is about your journey and fighting alongside and against these characters. So this isn't a quest where you're going to go get rat tails, right? You're actually against the Scarecrow goons, tracking him down, and ultimately will show you that you do face off against Scarecrow.
So you can see here people are actually hallucinating, and I'm going to help this guy overcome his fears here by actually destroying his hallucinations, or having Scarecrow's basically made this gas which causes mass hallucinations to occur. So I'm actually going to save these people until the hazmat guys arrive.
Now, of course, the question, why can you see the other dude's hallucinations? Well, you're there too, and the gas is beginning to affect you. So as you go through the episode, more and more you're going to have to be careful trying to discern what's real and what's not based on Scarecrow's fear gas.
There's another player on the beta server named Jets, who's a hero running around here. And interestingly enough, I don't really have to be worried about him near me and feel competitive. The second I damage this and he damages a little bit, we can share the content. We both get credit. So it will be really easy for people to sort of, we call it soft grouping in a way. We're very friendly in terms of contribution to this content. So if I interact with this, another guy comes up and starts hitting my stuff, we're both going to get credit.
Well, because heroes help heroes and villains, well, they'll at least help villains for a little while. And so our contribution rules are really generous. As long as you do about 30% of any given objective, that means 3 or 4 people can pile on and do it. And of course, if you're in a group, you can play.
You're hallucinating.
Not surprisingly, our game is more and more fun with more people, either fighting around them, or if you group up with them and just jump right in. And we have special modes at the end game dedicated to that.
Here you see a collection. You're going to find clues and things and investigations all over the world which are going to give you rewards and little backstory on the DC Universe and the episodes that you're dealing with.
Right, so each episode has a series of clues for you to find that are the investigations. In this case, Jens has just picked up his very first one.
You can see I have feeds, headlines, renown, investigations, briefs, and collections, and things like that. So I don't have any collections yet because I just started investigations. I just started the Precipice of Fear, which is going to have a bunch of collections that I can do there.
And we also have in here the player briefs, which are actually reports made by the various reporters like Lois Lane or Vicky Vale, where they actually talk about the characters. So maybe you don't know who Dr. Fate is. Well, don't worry, Lois has a news story on it that while you're going through the adventure, you'll actually be introduced. And that's actually one of the most important parts of the game, is this universe is rich, it's massive, and while a few marquee characters are well known, we need to introduce the entire universe so that we can tell a universe's worth of stories. And that's really what your experience in this game is about. So while you might really love your hero, you're really going to want to make a villain to see the other sides of this story, since more than half of the content is unique to each side. You're not going to really get a full view of the universe unless, of course, you experience it from both sides.
Now, you can see here, the mini-map in the top right corner is telling me where I need to go. It's showing me the enemies on the map. I need to be in this red peg in order to do that red area in order to get credit for what I'm working on. On the right-hand side, my quests are sort of updating here. My mission is updating as I go through and kill these, or knock these guys out, rescue various hazmat dudes. We have main quest lines and side quests. You can find side quests inside the various areas where you're doing your main quest and pick up even more extra XP and some rewards. So, I'm going to fast forward here.
Yeah, let's continue to play. An episode's usually made of 3 or 4 parts in the shared world leading up to an instance encounter where you can face off against the boss. And that means most of the game is actually shared. A lot of people ask us, how much is each? What parts are you by yourself? What parts are you around other people? Most of the game, probably 80-85% of the game, you are either around people or you're intentionally grouping up with them to go take on a challenge. But we do reserve those special moments so that if you want to go up against Scarecrow and face that challenge on your own, you can do that and the instance gives you the benefit for it. But if you want to invite a friend to help out and completely cheese Scarecrow, feel free to, right? It's about how you want to have fun in these universes.
Alright, so I'm going to fast forward. Normally I'd finish everything that was sort of around this keg, and I'd be directed to go to the next powder keg, which is over here. Which
you can see the fear gas is continuing to grow and saturate, so even though you've defeated some of the goons, obviously Scarecrow's plans are continuing.
It's very scary gas too. You can see skulls coming up every once in a while too. The gas
Scary
itself.
gas. Thanks, that's a quote now.
Really?
Well, you said it.
Okay, so I'm going to go over to this area here. You can see some of the environment. We'll show you a little bit of more of the environments in our geography class that we'll be doing soon. Various different kinds of encounters that I have here. That's a transport encounter where I can help that guy. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward though. Okay, let's command. So don't mind talking about this.
Sure, so there's dozens and dozens of episodes for you to go through, and each is introducing another character to the DC Universe or continuing a story. For example, in this case, you're running into Scarecrow. Well known, been in movies, TV, many, many comics, but in this case, this is your time with Scarecrow. This is where you're working for Batman, fighting against Scarecrow.
And at the end, you get a little Batman.
Good job smashing those foggers. Scarecrow's gas creates hallucinations from the fear centers of the brain. So strong they can cause trauma, even death.
So I basically get my reward for finishing that part of the quest. You can see what it is here. It's a visited Plexiderm belt. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that.
Giving Dr. Leslie Tompkins an antidote for the gas, but that's not enough to stop Scarecrow's threats. We have to get the fear gas barrels off the street. Get to their supply depot by the chemical factory. No matter what you see, don't let the effects of the fear gas scare you off.
So Kevin Conroy as Batman. You'll notice that there's a player, sort of a talking head up top where you get to see Batman animating and stuff. But we just saw I found this belt, right? And you can see here my style, I have not collected it yet. So I'm going to go ahead and click on it. Do you want to change your appearance of your character when clicking this item? I'm going to say yes, so you can see that it just popped on my character right there and altered his look, right? And now, as you can see, I have the new stats for this on my character as well. But I like my old look because traditional in myself.
You want to say Deathstroke inspired, Ron?
Stay very Deathstroke-y. So I'm going to go to my appearance tab in my waist. And now you can see everything I've collected. This is nothing, right? I can use my antifreeze, which is the one I just found. There's also insectoid, which I found earlier. And then there's the simple utility, which is what I started with. So I can make that item look like any of the other items I've ever collected. As I get more belts, shoulders, everything else in the game, it's going to pop into this, and I can customize my character as I go. Character creation, visually, never ends in our game. It's a constant collection that you can play with as you go forward.
Right, and realize that that collection is distributed throughout the game. So if you want more emblems, you've got to go do races. If you want more of the armor sets, you do mainline content. If you want weapons, you've got to attack the bosses. Each of the different pieces comes from different types of the content and gameplay, so there's always something for you to do and always something to earn from that.
The hallucinations get stronger the more you're exposed to the gas.
Where do I find that quest?
Hang in there.
But yeah,
A little developer assistant.
it's $100 a month for the GM. It's worth it, trust me. It's worth it. So here's look. Oh, stupid screensaver. Alright. Playing with the controller.
But as I was saying, so while you face Scarecrow off in this first episode, and if you succeed, you throw him back in Arkham, you find out that that's actually where he wanted to go, because as a series of stories unfold, ultimately there's a raid where you have to take your friends and go in and face off against Scarecrow, Poison Ivy, and Mr. Freeze all together in Arkham because they've taken over the various wings. So these episodes build on themselves, introducing the characters and then continue to expand the story. And of course, as the live game develops, we'll continue to add to those episodes and keep those stories rolling. So think of them as this is one big game where you're the central hero. This is your comic story, your issue run as you go through all of the various storylines in the DC universe.
You're witnessing one of our Crisis episodes.
That's